6 corrupt police officers reacting to life sentence. These reactions can make anyone emotional, but the reality is far from that. When people like police officers lose their morality, who do you trust? Stay with us till the end as we tell you about the 6 emotional reactions of police officers reacting to the life sentence. First on our list is Jeffrey Moreland, a former Grandview police officer who is already serving a life term for a murder conviction in Cass County, was sentenced to an extra 30 years in prison for a separate murder that occurred in Jackson County. Jeffrey Moreland entered a guilty plea to the charges of murder in the second degree and armed criminal action in connection with the death of Nina Whitley. On October 29, 2010, her body was discovered inside her home in the South Kansas City neighborhood.
And I just wanted the defendant to know that he was an animal for what he did to my daughter.
Moreland was given a sentence of 20 years in prison for the conviction of murder, in addition to 10 years in prison for the conviction of armed criminal action. He is already serving a life sentence for the murder of Kara Jo Roberts, who was discovered dead in the home she shared with her husband in Harrisonville in November of 2008. Second's Jesse Hernandez. A former cop who shot a Selma police officer was found guilty and given a life sentence. Jesse Hernandez Jr. was found guilty of aggravated assault on a public servant for shooting Selma police officer Tiffany Kieram. This was the worst sentence he could get. During the same incident, he was also accused of shooting another Selma police officer, and that case is still going on.
Do you think there's anything that could have happened that morning that could have justified police acting the way they did?
Yep, it's okay.
Hernandez, who used to be a police officer in Corpus Christi and Robstown, could have gotten anywhere from 5 years to life in prison, and he also could have just been put on probation. District Attorney Nicholas LaHood, who helped try the case, told the jury that they should give the man a life sentence. During the last round of arguments, LaHood said, "This case comes down to 1 millimeter. 1 millimeter separates aggravated assault from murder with the death penalty." Doctors had said that Kieram was lucky to have lived after getting shot in the face. In his arguments, John Bud Rittenauer, the defense attorney, reminded the jury that his client was not charged with murder or even attempted murder. Next is Braulio Gonzalez. A former Miami-Dade police officer who was found guilty of molesting girls was given a life sentence in prison. 2 of his victims talked about what he did to them at his sentencing. One of the victims told a psychologist that he touched her several times when she was between 8 and 10 years old. Gonzalez's lawyer, Bruce Lear, had asked for a 25-year sentence, saying that Gonzalez was a hard-working officer who had saved many lives while on the job. During the trial, his wife of 4 years and 2 police officers both spoke up for him. The prosecutor said that Gonzalez had 2 lives. The newspaper said Gonzalez, who worked for the Miami-Dade Police Department, did not speak to the court or apologize to the victims, and he's likely to try to change his sentence. The Herald said they told the judge on Friday that Gonzalez had ruined their lives. Gonzalez was allowed to keep his job even though he was accused of beating and abusing his former lovers repeatedly, the newspaper cited internal police files, and the Miami-Dade police took care of these claims against him. Fourth on our list is Michael Hettel. A former Washington State police officer was given a life sentence for killing his next-door neighbor in Fairfax County, Virginia. The killing came after years of small fights over noise and trash that grew into a brutal daylight shooting that prosecutors called an execution. Fairfax County Circuit Judge Randy I. Bello said he was giving Michael Hettel, age 55, the harshest sentence that the law would allow because Hettel didn't show any remorse and because he killed Javon Prather, age 24, in a heartless way. At a trial in October 2021, a jury found Hettel guilty of murder in the first degree. During the trial, the prosecutor said that Hettel took matters into his own hands because he was so angry that the police and the neighborhood association where he lived did not do more about Prather's problems. They said he was partly driven by his race, which Hettel's lawyer denied. Hettel is white, and Prather was of mixed race. Hettel testified for a long time that he had shot the man in self-defense. He said in court that when Prather came to his door on March 4, 2020, after arguing with Hettel, he thought Prather had a gun. A scary ring surveillance video of the killing was shown over and over again to the jury during the trial. It shows Hettel's front door opening and then Hettel shooting Prather in the stomach without any warning. Hettel fires shot after shot at Prather as he turns and stumbles down the stairs. Prather fell down in Hettel's driveway, and Hettel shoots him a 7th and final time as he lies there. At the time of the shooting, Hettel was in charge of safety at NASA. He had been a police officer on the West Coast many years before. In the line of duty, he killed 2 people with his gun. Those killings were ruled to be okay. Up next, we have Gong Do-yeon. Gong Doyan, a former deputy mayor and police head of East China Shanghai Municipality, was sentenced to life in prison for accepting bribes by the Intermediate People's Court of Tangshan in the Hebei province. Gong lost all of his political rights for the rest of his life, and all of his personal property was taken away. His illegal gains from bribery, as well as the interest on those gains, were also recovered and given to the state treasury. The court found that Gong had used the many jobs he used to have in the Hubei province and Shanghai municipality to help other people with things like running businesses, getting contracts for construction projects, handling cases, and getting promoted at work, among other things. In return, Gong got money and other things worth about $10.56 million, or 73.43 million yuan. The court statement said there was a number of bribes Gong took that was very large, and the circumstances of his crimes were very bad, causing the state and the people to lose a lot of money. According to the statement, Gong was given a light sentence because he had been honest about his crimes during the investigation, shown remorse, and worked with the police to return all of his illegal gains. Last, we have Wayne Couzens. Wayne Couzens will spend the rest of his life in jail because he used his power as a police officer to kidnap, rape, and kill Sarah Everard. A judge said that his crimes were as bad as a terrorist attack. In March, when COVID lockdown restrictions were at their strictest, the former Met police officer used his warrant card and handcuffs to get 33-year-old Everard into his car as she walked home in South London. He probably used the rules as an excuse to stop her. Couzens took her to Kent, where he strangled her with his police belt and set her body on fire. Lord Justice Fulford told Couzens that his actions had hurt the victim's family and society as a whole. He said that Couzens' actions had broken up the Everard family, hurt people's trust in the police, hurt his wife and 2 children, and made women feel more afraid. The judge said that Couzens got a life sentence because he used his position to do bad things. And this means the court would treat it as seriously as murder done for a terrorist reason. Because of this sentence, Couzens will die in prison. The judge said that Couzens went to London for a month to plan out how to commit his crimes and to buy things he would need ahead of time. Couzens stood up to hear his sentence with his head bowed and eyes closed. He was wearing a navy blue suit and face mask. At the end of Fulford's speech, 2 police officers took Couzens to the ground. He said he was sorry for what he did, but the judge said he wasn't really sorry. The rules for a life sentence in prison cover things like double murder, the murder and kidnapping of a child, and the murder of a police officer. Fulford set a legal standard when he gave Couzens a sentence for a single murder because he abused his power and role as a police officer. Fulford said, "The police are in a position that is different from that of any other public servant. They are in a class by themselves when it comes to their ability to force and control." He said that police should use these powers in the public interest, and that if they don't, it could hurt trust in law and order. If that is undermined, one of the long-lasting safeguards of law and order in this country is inevitably put at risk. So this was all about this video. We hope you liked it. Please leave us a comment and let us know which cop you believe to be the most corrupt, and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date about these crazy court moments. And did you know? The reactions of cops are nothing compared to 6 insane cannibals reacting to a life sentence. Click on this video if you want to see their crazy reactions.